Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I am absolutely covered in coal, because I've been naughty.
I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Remington, you can't keep going into the coal mines. It's not good for your lungs.
Look, it's what I deserve after a naughty year.
You can't yearn for the mines like this, Rem. You are not a child anymore.
It's Christmas, baby.
It's Christmas, which means, Rem, I have genuinely no control over what we're doing this year.
It's been a very random year between of course we have the 12 Days Casino, all about chance, choice, and risk, and then completely unrelated, the patrons have decided, hey, you know what we want more than anything to celebrate Christmas? A random wheel.
It's true, and they decided that before they knew what the theme of the 12 Days of April Fools was this year. They are wheel sluts.
And here's the thing, I knew that when coming up with the 12 Days Casino before they even said it, because I am the voice of the people, all right? I understand they wanted it, and so here we are with a December filled to the brim with random chance.
Yeah, no, I could not have planned it better if I tried. And the best part is people could have accused me of being like, oh, you're just stealing his ploy, when in actuality, all year, it's been, every time I've streamed, every other stream has been subject to the whims of a wheel. We have developed a wheel-based cult in our audience.
Yeah.
And genuinely, I gave them the choice of a list for them to vote on and campaign for, or they could have a pure random chance wheel. And they chose the random chance so cleanly. They chose it, like, the difference was massive. It is truly the idea of,
they were like,
hey,
we could get an episode we actually like and enjoy, or we could spin a random wheel that has a chance for something we like and enjoy.
the wheel could even have the show we want to cover. It could be anything. And I just got to say, I love our audience for that, because it's very funny. The downside of that is, though, Rem, is I did have to loosely prepare several episodes.
Yep.
So Dylan might have to do a little bit extra editing.
I know a thing or two about that.
Yeah. And it's gonna be rough. And I've got to tell you right now, Rem, I didn't choose a single thing on this wheel.
Ooh,
this was
boy.
a list compiled by Farmer Weeb and a bunch of our patrons. Farmer Weeb compiled the list from their suggestions. And right after they finished voting for the wheel, they were like, so, do we get to know what's on the wheel? And I told them, fuck no. Because you chose the random chance wheel. You don't get a no until the day of, just like Remington.
Yeah. It'll become very clear, I feel like, what direction they decided to take this in.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, Rem, what kind of things are you hoping for on this wheel?
I think it'd be lovely for them to be like, you know what, Remington, enjoyed this and wanted to revisit, but they never did. Or what would be lovely is just some high quality movies, perhaps, because there's some really good ones there. And, movies have a higher success rate for me than series do, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a cute short form thrown in there. I know Sean would love Zootopia 2 to randomly be on here, so he has an excuse to go to the theaters.
Okay.
We barely
Did you
got him
realize
out of
you
it,
would be the one that would be going to the theater in that situation?
Well, yeah,
right?
but who would be taking me? I need a chaperone.
Fucking, you're not old enough to watch Zootopia 2, so you need a grown-ass adult to come and escort you.
To my understanding, it is a very mature film. At least from how Sean talks about it.
Okay, listen here, you. I still haven't listened to the back half of that episode that you had to take over for. And I probably never will because I shudder to think what you have done to me.
All I did was speak the truth, and I don't deserve to be punished for it.
Well, Rem, I'm going to tell you some things right now. There are no short form anime on this wheel.
Yeah, makes sense.
There are no revisits on this wheel.
Oh, interesting. No revisits at all.
No revisits.
That is a surprise, because I was like, obviously these motherfuckers are going to throw like a fucking sword art or like...
And, and I expected that too, but no. And there are no movies on this wheel either. They are all shows.
A little bit disappointing, but
a little bit disappointing, but hey. And that is just the nature of what we are dealing with here. And it is. I'm gonna be blatantly honest with you, Rem. There are some things on this wheel that I never would have picked. Primarily because there's a handful of just brand new shows from the recent season.
Okay, all right. So, some recency bias coming in.
Yeah, and genuinely, they were shows that I was like, yeah, I could make an episode out of this, but I don't know if it would be the best episode we could cover from the new season.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I am so curious to see what it's going to land on. We do have some heavy requests, but they are all new. There's just one or two shows on this list that are a bit weird. So I've got 7 anime on this wheel, Rem.
Okay, all right.
And let me tell you, it's a weird mix of heavy requests, new shows, and something that there's one thing that's on this list that I really don't want to cover because it's going to be so hard on my part to try and explain and justify it to you. Just because...
We'll see how the hands of fate feel about that.
Yeah, and now that I've said that and put that into the universe, good chance it's gonna happen. God Almighty, I'm just as scared as you are, Rem.
All right, so let's unveil that wheel, baby.
Yes. So Rem, this is our wheel.
Okay, let me. Take
this year, here. The anime we have listed for you is The Perfect Insider, The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, Midori Days, fucking Bakemonogatari, Takapi's Original Sin, Code Geass, which Farmer Weeb has cutely put it as Code Geese.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yes. And finally, may I ask for one final thing? So tell me, Rem, looking at the images of with these, which one seems the scariest to you?
All right. Well, hilariously, I am viewing them on a wheel, so it takes a second for me to process the image.
Yes, they are slowly rotating. So...
Look, if it was actually Code Geass, then that would be a shoo-in, because I do like that little goose.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with geese.
Takopi's Original Sin, even though I know it's different, it immediately made me remember, shout out to the Flop Boys, when they had me Ichinose Family Sins?
Yes, correct. It is by the same author.
What the hell?
Yeah.
They only know about sin!
They love talking about sin. And it is, by and large, their most popular work. Obviously because it got an anime adaptation.
Melancholy could be interesting. Have we not done Bakemonogatari? I feel like...
People have been requesting it for years, Rem.
Okay! I guess in my head, we had already covered it.
We have not, because it is weird.
We've covered some weird. Other Monogatari and some other manga.
Yes. Yeah, Monogatari, the translation of Monogatari is essentially just story. So that one is, the direct translation of that, I believe, is ghost story.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna, okay. Hey, I mean, ghost story, ooh baby. I don't know if any of these inspire immediate confidence in me.
Uh-huh.
None of them I'm seeing in like, oh, well, it's gotta be that one.
Is there one that scares you the most?
Genuinely, I have to wait as they come around.
You and your poor brain having trouble processing images.
Let's see. Takopi's Original Sin, with it being the same creator, like, I don't know about that. I don't know, it was a bit of a weird experience. Midori Days, I don't know what the fuck that little fairy is, but I don't think I like it.
Oh, don't worry. If it lands on it, I'll explain fucking everything.
I guess
that one is the easiest to explain. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's really I'm not currently able to identify like big red alarm bells or oh baby that one I want. Right now, it's just all a nebulous space.
Okay, Rem. Are you ready to decide your fate?
Not really, but let's do it.
Okay. Time to spin the Christmas wheel.
La, 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 la.
All right. Here we are.
It does feel like it was foreshadowed by talking about it. Bakemonogatari.
Yep, Bakemonogatari. Okay, Rem. This is the second hardest one for me to explain.
All right. Love it.
All right. But before I get to it, I am going to give you an idea of what you missed out on. Just for folks, though. And of course, all of these other options could be something we cover in the future. All right. Takapi's Original Sin, you might have actually enjoyed quite a bit because it's only 4 episodes long.
Oh, fuck.
Yep. It is a little dark story about an alien who's coming to Earth who wants to make this little girl happy, and this little girl's life really is really dark and really fucking sucks.
Tale as old as time.
Yep, and this little alien is struggling to try and understand that. So, nice and fucked up. Good chance you would have enjoyed it. Heavily requested ever since it dropped earlier this year. May I ask for one thing? Is this is one of the weird seasonal ones. It's about it's about a princess, duchess type character who solves all of her problems in high court society by beating the shit out of rich people.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Code Geass is a dystopian future story with a main character who is very light-coded, who is using his uniquely acquired power to essentially try and destroy the government.
Yeah, but what about Code Geass?
That is the same thing, but with a goose.
Hell yeah, that's the one I want to watch.
Yep, the Perfect Insider. Okay, Perfect Insider. How do I explain Perfect Insider? Okay, so Perfect Insider is kind of a surreal mystery thriller type of story.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that is probably the easiest way to explain it without getting into too much detail. Good chance you might have enjoyed it based on that premise alone. Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, that's the one that I was going to have the hardest time explaining. Because it is a classic from the mid-2000s, all about Haruhi Suzumiya and her little adventure club, where it is a massive, non-linear story where lots of weird supernatural things, and there may or may not be God involved.
But of course.
Yeah, that is probably as brief as I can keep it. And then, of course, Midori Days. This one is the easiest to explain. It's a story about a dude whose right hand becomes his girlfriend. Good chance you wouldn't have liked that one.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy we're not covering that one. All right, so let's talk about the one we are covering. And the most important question: how festive is it?
Oh, how festive is Bakemonogatari? Not at all.
What a way to celebrate!
Oh, no. Yeah, no. None of these things were very festive, Rem. Unless you count, like, Pizza Hut as festive, then maybe
yeah,
Code Geass would have had a chance. But, no. None of these are very festive. But Bakemonogatari, this is one that has been requested for ages because, Rem, this is the anime people think of when they think of the studio Shaft.
Okay, which is not bad.
Correct. Hey, you did the reverse of the joke. I'm so proud of you.
Here's the thing. I didn't even know it was the reverse of the joke. I didn't know if it was the same
we've
joke.
We've covered way more Madhouse than we've covered Shaft, Rem. The only Shaft things that we've covered, Rem, is Madoka Magica and Sangatsu no Lion, and I'm pretty sure that's it.
And now this.
And now this, the Shaft anime. It is a part of a massive series as well. A massive anthological style series that has a watch order, but by God, it's one of those shows where you have to actually look up the watch order.
Oh, God.
Because each season is called a different thing, right? Like, so Bakemonogatari is the original first season.
Okay, cool.
The sequel is Nisei Monogatari.
All right.
The sequel after that is just it's called Monogatari Season, second season. Yeah, and there is a sequel to that one, Hana Monogatari. And there's a sequel that's called Tsuki Monogatari.
Is this one of the reasons why I hear Monogatari so much?
Because we keep getting requests for the Monogatari franchise, yes.
Oh my God.
We've never covered anything from it. Yeah. Like I've made jokes in episodes that have Monogatari in the title that it is a weird addition to the Monogatari franchise, but it's not. Oh, and then after Tsuki Monogatari is Owari Monogatari. And then after that is Koyo Mino Monogatari. And then there is like a couple prequels as well, and like some films. It is a massive fucking series.
This is a frightening amount.
Yes. But Bakemonogatari is like the OG one from 2009. And it is, well, Rem, it's weird.
Okay.
It is a weird story. The general premise of all the Monogatari series is it's about kind of our main dude, Koyomi Araragi. And he is a fairly normal teenage lad with one distinct aspect. He has recently recovered from a bout of vampirism.
Oh, of course. All right, so now he's fine, but just...
Yeah, he still has some of the lingering effects of vampirism, but overall he is not a full proper vampire, and he's not going to burst into flames and sunlight anymore.
Is this just a way of being like, yeah, you get a couple of the upsides with none of the downsides?
He gets like 2 upsides with none of the downsides, and the upsides are just like, man, I can take a couple extra hits and I heal a little quickly. That's about it.
Is this just gonna be some fucking shonen battle trash?
No.
Okay.
I cannot emphasize enough. That is not what this is.
Okay.
It's weird, Rem. It is fucking weird. And what the premise is it's about this fella and the various people he interacts with who, for one reason or another, have some kind of supernatural ailment that's affecting them.
Okay.
All right. And the whole premise of the series is him going around with these various girls and helping them more or less cure their supernatural ailment through the help of some weird exorcism stuff and some like soul searching and some personal grief confrontation, essentially. He's just kind of a bit of a weird dude who keeps stumbling into these situations. And, surrounded by all these weird women. And it is, like, if I explain it just like that, it doesn't sound too complex. What makes it complex, Rem, is that it is probably the most avant-garde anime from its era.
Ooh, all right, here we go. Finally, something a little bit different.
It is, I can guarantee we've not really watched anything quite like it. It is essentially a show filled with monologues and conversations between characters, with a variety of weird imagery, flashing screens, text flowing throughout the entirety of the show, strange head tilts, slightly disjointed storytelling, and just severe trauma as well. It is, by and large, one of those shows that people either love with a passion or hate without regard.
Oh, hell yeah, I can't wait to see which camp I'm in.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It has some of like the telltale sign.
How is something this weird reach that level of success where now it has a million series spin-off things?
Because of how many people genuinely enjoyed it, my guy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, like it is beloved by a lot of people. It's not without its fair share of problems, obviously, because it is, a weird, slightly horny anime from the mid-2000s, early 2010s. But it does things so differently, especially for the time, that people were uncertain how to feel about it and would go back and rewatch it to try and understand the things they missed. And it's weird. It's weird. It has a very distinctive editing style. You'll see a lot of head tilts. The thing that Shaft is known for, head tilts. And it'll be curious to see how you break it down, because it's going to be kind of hard to talk about. But the general premise of this first one is you got Araragi, who is recovering from his bout with vampirism, and he has a run-in with Hitagi Senjogahara, who he sees falling down several flights of stairs, and he rushes in to catch her, and surprisingly, she weighs essentially nothing. And essentially, she has lost all of her weight, more or less. She is essentially like a ghost, hence Bakemonogatari or ghost story.
Okay.
And the story begins with Araragi and Senjogahara having interactions, getting to know each other, and him introducing her to the exorcist that helped him with his vampire situation to try and, cure her of the whole fading away thing.
Sure.
Yes. And the closest thing to a show that we've covered like this before is Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, which we covered all the way back in 2018.
Yep. I recall not liking it as much as you wanted me to.
Yeah, but that's story of our fucking life. Rascal is kind of like the more grounded version of this premise, to put things in perspective.
Okay.
So Rascal, it is a very similar premise. Dude who had a weird supernatural interaction stumbles upon several other characters who have other weird supernatural issues and helps them through it, which it's usually related to some kind of emotional issue rather than just raw, random spiritual happenstance. Bunny Girl Senpai was the grounded version. This is the weird, avant-garde, disjointed version.
All right, well, let's get freaky with it, baby.
Yeah, so I think we should just go straight into it. And it is Christmas, Rem. You're gonna watch the whole season.
Yeah, that's how it goes, all right. Look, I do it for all of you motherfuckers.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Rem, there are gonna be some scenes in this that you are going to blatantly dislike and hate. The rest, though, is a fucking mystery. That is genuinely how it is. It's only 15 episodes.
Only!
But, hey, man, it's Christmas and you've got time, because we are recording this well in advance. So I think without further ado, let's go straight into it. Let's go watch the first of the Monogatari franchise, Bakemonogatari. And we are back after watching the entire 15 episodes of Bakemonogatari. And Remington, I wasn't lying when I said this was a weird pick, but I can guarantee that it's probably not quite what you expected.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a lot, isn't it? Good or bad, it is a lot. There's a lot.
It's one of those shows that I need to figure out
how
best
the fuck
way
you're going to talk about it.
Yeah,
because there's a reason I haven't covered it up to this point, Rem, even though we've been getting requests for it since day fucking one, because it's a weird show that is hard to talk about because it's so strange. Because how do you describe in an audio only format what the fuck goes on in the show without sounding like an insane person?
Yeah, yep. All right. Look, this one's for the freaks. I think that's just.
Oh yeah, no, this is one of the freaky ones.
This one's for all the freaks out there, all the freaks that have been recommending this one nonstop. Now I know that y'all are little freaks. I know it. You can no longer hide.
I mean, in fairness, if they listen to us, they're definitely freaky. We got a freaky ass audience, my guy.
It's true. It's true.
It's just that you can't deny your freakiness if you've ever recommended a show like this before.
So I suppose I will cover it not as much episode by episode, but rather section by section.
Yes, because there are little story vignettes that are like mini arcs throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, every 2 or 3 episodes usually is a chunk that handles one main thing. And yeah, I guess let's just jump the fuck in, I guess. Well,
please, Rem, you can understand why I I hesitated for so long to show this to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
we start off with the crab arc.
Yes.
And so with this, first of all, very opening shot is an immediate panty shot.
Oh yeah.
Just frame one, which I tried to give the benefit of the doubt to this show, right? Because I was like, look, you getting weird and artsy with it, and so sometimes that leads to things that could be seen as lazily and obnoxiously horny. However,
no.
Often it has a greater point, and it can mix in with a more avant-garde style.
Not in this show, guy.
No. So as it turns out,
that's just on top of everything.
So like 50 to maybe even 60% of this show, right, is a very unique, original, mostly just done in conversations, but many of the conversations are thoughtful and a little bit different, right? It's uncanny. It explores some interesting things. The visual style is one of the single most unique styles we have ever seen with the shit that they're doing. Like, it's impossible to describe. Don't expect me to.
No.
But it's batshit insane, which I can really admire and appreciate. Granted, sometimes a lot of it stylistically, I do think is there for ornamentation rather than meaning. By which I mean that it's a lot of the weird visual stuff. It's purely there for style and not fully there for substance. That's not a hard and fast rule. There are definitely some major exceptions to that all throughout. It is simply noting that it is not always the case that the weird visuals are meaningful per se, right? Yeah. Sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't. Also, a lot of times they'll throw so much text at you. They got 3 levels of text they'll throw at you, all right?
Yeah.
Level 1 text is you aren't going to be able to read this shit, all right? It's just flashing at you. It's like more or less mimicking subliminal messages more than anything, frankly. At the other end is text that it does expect you to read.
Yes.
It is like, hey, yes, no, this is readable and deliberate. And then there's like a third one kind of in the middle that's like, if you're really paying attention and locked the fuck in, then you'll probably be able to read it, but usually you'll be able to get like the gist of it before it flashes away. So those are like the 3 levels. Completely unreadable, you get the gist of it, and you can actually read it. And all of those are very prevalent. And
to make matters worse, it depends on where you watch it as well, because sometimes things get translated and sometimes things don't.
Yeah. And so, look, I swear to God, if a single person addresses any of my complaints with being like, actually, that was addressed by the wall of text that appeared for 2 frames.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right
now.
Shut
the fuck up.
Yeah, no, it's not going to fucking happen. It's not going to happen. Don't worry. Don't worry. When I said that this was a divisive show, the people that complain that are the broad defenders of the show will not make that be like their sticking point. That is never going to come up. You don't have to worry about that whatsoever.
Yeah. So this 50 to 60%, very different, very unique. It examines human relationships and psychology in a really interesting way, right? It uses the apparitions to handle some interesting metaphors, some handled better than others, but overall quite interesting. And it even very often it will handle sexuality in a way that feels much more authentic, mature, and thoughtful than the vast majority of shows. There's some scenes where it's like, wow, it's so refreshing. Now that's 50 to 60%.
Yes.
Now I'm sure those less familiar are wondering, what's the big missing chunk there? That while it's not quite half, but man, it is a vital ingredient to the show. It is fucking everywhere. And that, unfortunately, is lazily written, cliche, perverted, and pedophilic, ecchi bullshit. So
yeah.
So don't get me wrong, there are times, like 10% of the time that it's handling sexuality or things, it does handle it in a genuinely thoughtful way that is wildly refreshing. There's one episode we will talk about where I think they fucking nail it, right? But the vast majority of the time, when this show is horny, one, it gets really cliche and bad. It does all the tropes that you've seen them in all the ways that you've seen them. It's boring, it's lazy, it's frustrating. And this also bleeds into quite a bit of the romance and the general harem elements of it. Those ingredients aren't adding anything whatsoever, which is so frustrating when when it'll be extremely thoughtful in one moment, right? And just having a conversation, it's like, oh my god, why can't more anime be like this? And then in another moment, be a fucking mess and just handle things so poorly. We'll get into specific examples, but god damn.
Yeah, that's
and then the fact that the show does know better. The show does know how to do it well. It knows how to explore sexuality well, but most of the time it just doesn't.
Yes. Hey, that is the strong 2009 vibes coming out right there, especially. Like, that was one of the most prolific late 2000s, early 2010s, very horny time in anime, and this is definitely one of the biggest offenders of that.
I'm going to potentially foreshadow something in one way or the other, all right?
All right.
I don't yet know what I'm foreshadowing, but this will foreshadow something.
Yep.
And you don't need to react, but it is one thing to say it's of its time, right? And so surely, if it is just of its time, then that will be reflected in the Mal rating later, as it has come to be recontextualized. So we'll see which direction that layer of foreshadowing goes. That'll be a fun little present for us to open up at the end of the episode. But for now, let's talk about
present for Christmas. That's cute.
Hey, let's talk about the first two episodes rather, where we have our protagonist Araragi, and I'm probably just gonna keep calling him Ara. I'm gonna shorten a lot of these characters' names because a lot of them have longer names, and his isn't one of the longer ones. But
you don't want to say Senjo Gahara every time?
Yeah. So that's he meets Senjo Gahara, the girl who
we love
falls
Senjo
down
Gahara.
This weirdly, Senjo Gahara, it does have a nice, like, it rolls off the tongue quite well.
Yeah.
But I will Ara and Senjo. All right, that's how we're gonna handle that. That's how.
You're not helping the white podcaster stereotype. You know that, right, Rem?
I'm not trying to. Look, I recognize this is on me. All right.
Yeah.
It's just easier this way, and it was way easier to write notes this way.
Uh-huh.
In the notes I'm taking, especially with such a wordy fucking show, where I had to abridge my fucking notes anytime I had the opportunity. Otherwise, I'd miss so much.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when the show is like 80% conversations.
Yeah, which I can fuck with, but if you're into more action, then I think you'll be pretty bored. And it's not even that the conversations are particularly dramatic. The vast majority of conversations are chill and a bit weird. And some of them will be dramatic, but most of them just aren't.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I can vibe with. It's not everybody's cup of tea, and I totally get that. So he saves her from falling, notices she's light. She then threatens him to staple his mouth shut and grabs a box cutter. She has a lot of stationary supplies that can slice and dice.
Oh yeah.
And that's not really explored. That's
is
just kind of a thing.
It is a
tiny bit.
Yeah, it's to help weigh her down essentially, and give her another weird little character quirk to be memorable. I mean, she is on the fucking cover of the anime after all.
Yeah. But she threatens him, and is like, you better stay silent. Hilariously, apparently the reason she fell was a banana peel.
Yeah.
And they don't treat that comedically at all, despite it being fucking hilarious.
Correct, yes.
That's just like,
It is the most deadpan, straightforward delivery on most jokes in this show.
Slipped on a banana peel, unfortunately. So, you know, that's why I was falling down an endless tower that we have. You know, the endless tower everybody has at school?
Yep.
You understand. We all have the endless tower. So threatens him to stay silent, and he's like, all right, but then he like confronts her, is like, I want to help out, right? Because he knows a guy. He knows a guy, Oshino, who helped cure his vampirism, and so they go show up and to this like decrepit school building that's nice and abandoned. And they're like, hey, Oshino, help. And he's like, oh, it's a weight crab. You know, it's the great god showing up in the form of a weight crab. And
Yeah. What's the problem, right?
So here we are. It's a weight crab. Now we know. You know? Just glad we're all on the same page now, I suppose.
Crab can be heavy sometimes.
A very heavy crab. And so we have some conversations between Ara and Senjo, some weird horny bits that mostly doesn't work, but like there's an essence in this interaction that kind of works, but mostly it doesn't. So they're like, all right, Ashino, what do we do? And Ashino's like, all right, well, we're not going to exterminate the crab. Rather, the crab's too powerful. We gotta like ask favor from the crab. Be like, hey, please, crab, be nice to us. So Ashino starts asking Senjo about like painful memories. We learn about a cult that basically took advantage of her mom, and people from the cult then showed up. And hey, trigger warnings for just like so much shit. Shit.
Like, hey, this is trigger warnings for every bad thing you can think about.
So,
the list is fucking exhaustive in this franchise.
Yeah, just as a broad rule, if anything is a trigger to you, stop. Leave now.
Yeah, this ain't the show for you.
So members from the cult showed up and evidently tried to rape Senjo. She fucking spiked a bitch, but her mom was angry at her instead of anybody else. Relaying this memory, the giant crab shows up. Crab attacks. Ashino saves and handles the crab and everything. Senjo, she like apologizes, thanks to crab. We figure out that this is an emotion/memory god. And then it kind of spells out the central metaphor that Senjo essentially wished for the weight to be lifted off of her as a metaphor for the emotional burden of trauma that she has had to deal with. You know, it's just easier if you can be like, I don't want to deal with this. Here you go, crab. And but unfortunately, you know, that'll make you weightless, but in a sense that you're not fully grounded, not fully there. You're a bit of a ghost. You can't just ignore the trauma. You gotta process and manage that shit.
Yeah.
And so she's given back, and then Senjo and Ara decide, all right, let's be friends. So that's the first little arc, right? The crab arc. An okay start, right? A solid start. Still very much like figuring out, all right, what's going on with this fucking show at this stage. The second one is the snail. The lost snail. It's Mother's Day, and Ara is alone at a park. Senjo arrives. They chat. Heaps looking at her boob. There's a sexually charged conversation. Blah blah blah. Lots of meaningless nonsense here.
Yeah.
That really does. There's the conversation later that they have about this conversation is way better than this conversation.
Right.
But there's a young girl, like, I don't know, 10 years old or some such, who seems to be struggling and lost. So Aura approaches her. She doesn't want to deal with him, but he's like, hey, it looks like you're lost. It seems like you need help. She's like, no, fuck you. He smacks the shit out of her. They fight. Senjo intervenes. And then they all go together to the address that she had on a little paper, right? And as they go walking through this neighborhood, and throughout this, you get a really fun look at the liminal spaces that the show loves, which is really rad. Both the park and the neighborhood are just so barren and desolate and stylized in a nice, strange, uncomfortable way. I fuck with it. All right. It's a nice, distinct, meaningful choices being made there. So they struggle to find it. Eventually, they're like, well, this just isn't going to work out. They go back to the park. And Senjo leaves. Hanakawa joins, who is like a class president. And just like a brief conversation there. Not super. Hanakawa isn't super relevant until she really is. She'll be very, very important later. For now, it's just kind of in background. You just need to know she's close with Aura and obviously into him. So Senjo gets instructions from Mishino and shows back up and is like, all right, so here's the deal. I don't even know who you're talking about. I cannot see this girl. I'm just sort of taking your word for it. I've learned to doubt my own straight up like vision and reality. So I just assumed I was crazy and can't see what you can see. But no, actually, you're kind of the crazy one here. And so as it turns out, the girl is an apparition of a lost snail. And the sort of concept is that there's so much shit here.
Yeah, look, man, this is why I didn't want to cover this anytime soon, because every time I sat down to rewatch this, and like in the 7 years we've been doing this podcast, I've rewatched this 3 times to try and prep an episode for it, and every time I finish, I'm just like, oh boy, how are we going to talk about this show? There's so much, and yet...
Yeah, the basic idea is that Aura sees her because he's, for Mother's Day, avoiding his own family life, and if you follow Lost Snail, then you will be lost, so you must abandon the Lost Snail if you ever want to stop being lost. You have to actually, once again, face reality, face the shit that's going on. You can't just be avoidant, otherwise you will be trapped in this liminal space forever. They think a little creatively and are able to find a happy solution for the lost snail girl who has a nice tragic backstory. And so that's the general arc. But unfortunately with this arc, I've left out a lot of the content because a lot of the content
is gross.
Is Aura actively sexualizing and molesting a 10-year-old girl, and the 10-year-old girl being like, don't do that, and Aura being like, oh yes, I like to do that, and I'm gonna keep doing that. And that will show up when she shows up again later on in the series, and it's not brief, it's not a subtle moment. It happens a lot in these episodes.
Yeah.
So I watched all of Bakemonogatari, right? And I understand there are different seasons and whatnot. I decided that it would be allowed for me to see what other people were saying about it. Unsurprisingly, Sean.
Yeah.
Most of the weebs that I saw were defending it.
Yeah, that is definitely a commonality, which is unfortunate to say the least.
So let's go over their possible defenses, because maybe Sean, we're the problem.
We're not. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're
not,
fucking not.
But let's see if they have any arguments. A lot of them were like, well, yeah, Ara is horny. That's part of his personality. Which two things on that, right? One, the issue is not that he is horny, right? The issue is that the camera is horny along with him, right? It's not that there's just this random pervert character you're hearing about on the periphery. Rather, the camera, the direction, the writing, everything about it wants you to laugh along, and it wants you to be titillated by this gross bullshit. That is the goal of how those scenes are handled.
It doesn't work when it's, about this particular character at all.
And people were like, well, no, but every time he gets punished for it, and like, sure, she'll like bite him in the hand and he'll instantly regenerate, I guess. There's no meaningful consequences. The show isn't presenting it. If anything, the show is presenting it as like an obnoxious but understandable thing, right? It's like, yeah, he's being a little obnoxious about it, but wouldn't we all be in that position? To which the answer should be, oh, fuck no. What the fuck?
No.
And it was just real. And then, of course, we got she's a ghost. So it doesn't count, which is, fucking hell.
No. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Rem, people who have a positive view on this show, real people with real opinions, they don't defend that shit.
And here's the thing.
They prefer to ignore it completely whenever possible.
Yeah, while this is probably the most heinous example, every single section of the show will focus on a different girl. And each and every one of them gets extremely sexualized repeatedly in uncomfortable, once again, lazily written ways.
Yes.
We'll get into the brief moments that the show handles sexuality well, because it does happen. But holy fucking shit. It is truly, there's not a single episode where this show won't at some point or another be gross and lazy. All right?
Merry Christmas.
Which is so unfortunate, because a lot of the show is really high quality. There's not a chance I would recommend this show to a soul. All right? There's not anybody who I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna love it. I feel like I don't want to be around people who I can like unequivocally recommend this to.
Yeah, no.
People I'm like, hey. Oh yeah, this is a great recommendation for them. Like, at best, it would be like, man, with a lot of caveats, like the closest I can come is a couple people I'd be like, yeah, I mean, this show does some interesting things that I think you would find interesting. However, you need to be, there's a lot of the show is god-awful and bad and gross. Like that's genuinely the closest I could ever come, and even that would be a rare case. Usually, I would just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. God. It has been on my list for years for a reason. Like, it is one of those shows that has genuine value and creative decisions and things to say, and is beloved for fairly decent reasons throughout. But the problematic shit in it that is so prevalent of anime of its genre and tertiary genres is so extreme that if anybody was ever to approach me and be like, hey, you know about anime, what do you know about this show that I keep hearing recommendations for? I would be like, oh, that is a show that is a lot and definitely is hard to recommend. You'll probably find some good things in it, but at the same time, there's so much problematic shit that it's hard to even talk about on a comedy podcast.
Yeah, and I feel the need to emphasize, as I so frequently do, right? Even if it weren't problematic, which, oh, Jesus Christ, it is. Even if that weren't the case, it's still detracting from the show so often and so frequently because it's lazy, it's boring, it's frustrating, it limits the opportunities that the show could be exploring. Why, like, let's just see some more, like, why can't any of them be fucking dudes? What the fuck? What the hell? And the reason is because it wants to have that harem mentality, right? There's gonna be people, oh, it's not a harem. It wants to get all the benefit of a harem anime, even if it doesn't, strictly speaking, have a harem. And that is a poor creative decision, because we're once again limiting the types of stories that we can tell. And you're like, well, all right, they all need to be super attracted to Aura, whether they're overt about it or not. They need to be sexualized. We need to find ways to show that off in the show. And when that's the focus, you know what's not the focus? Interesting themes that could be explored in their stead. Like, it is actively detracting from the quality of the show. And that's even if you ignore the rapey pedophile shit, which you shouldn't have to ignore. You don't have to ignore that. You don't need to ignore that. You can very much acknowledge that and be very aware of that. This show, it's like if you started listening to a band, right? And it's a band that was really innovative to your favorite genre. It was like, oh man, they did some really neat shit. And then it's like, oh, but the lead singer is a pedophile. And you're like, that kind of dampens my enjoyment of it pretty substantially. And then there'd be some people that would be like, oh, but maybe you can still enjoy the concerts. It's like, unfortunately, he does spend an hour of every concert going over his manifesto about being a pedophile. And it's like, oh, that feels like it would really halt the momentum of a fucking concert. Yes, it does. It does. And then some people would be like, but the other songs are great. And it's like, but no, for so many reasons, I'm not attending that fucking concert, brother. I ain't gonna do it. It's so irritating, so frustrating. Fucking yikes, brother. So that's the snail.
Yep.
The next one we get the monkey. With the monkey we meet Kenbaru. Kenbaru is an athletic tomboy. Quite a bit fits into some prototypical archetypes. And I'm going to level with you. The characters none of them are particularly unique or interesting. It's just that often the casual conversations and dialogue between characters is a bit fresh. This show, while acknowledging that often the dialogue is genuinely high quality, though sometimes it lapses even separate from the sexual pervy bullshit. So sometimes the dialogue is a little lazy and on the nose, but other times it is quite high quality. It's not necessarily transcendently good ever, but I think that the style of the show and the score that adds quite a bit to it adds a level of importance and profundity. And it's not that it adds it where it doesn't exist, rather it enhances it to a greater degree than it actually is. And that's a common theme within this show as well. If it was like, oh yeah, the show fails sometimes, but sometimes it handles some of the most profound themes in the most original ways. No, it's just a bit fresh. It is fresh for anime, basically. Which is nice and good. However, the number one thing this show has going for it is its style, and I think that's undeniable.
Yes. Yeah, no, its style is so iconic. It's parodied all the fucking time in various like comedy anime. I've even seen fucking VTubers be clipped in the style of Monogatari with some of their weird conversations they have. Like the style is so iconic, it's utilized so frequently.
Like if you're to adopt anything, the sort of like, one, there's the graphic design-ish stylings of it, but then two, there's I love the liminal locations of it as well. I do appreciate it slowing things way the fuck down, and it'll be like, hey, for the next 10 minutes, we're in this location, in this scene, with very few cuts. And we're just gonna handle that. Like, those are some... I like that it's willing to do shit like that. The dialogue itself is pretty good, but as we'll cover each of the different arcs, I don't think there's necessarily any where I was like, holy shit, what a special message that's really going to stick with me. They're all interesting presentations of platitudes, more or less, which is a solid good, but none of them I'm like, holy fuck, that makes me recontextualize this topic.
Yeah,
right.
no. Yeah, it is definitely one of those things where you can tell that at the time when this first dropped, there was nothing like this and no stories in anime that were quite tackling the same themes and ideas. And
it more or less, it gets credit because the style combined with the fact that it was handling these issues at all can then make it feel extremely important. And once again, I'm not saying that it's actively bad in those respects, right? Mm-hmm. I'm simply saying that I think that those elements combined give a presentation that's better than the sum of its parts.
Yes, and that genuinely is the real paradox of this franchise, because it is, God, there's just a lot of really good shit sprinkled in there, but it's just so hard to justify ever recommending it to anybody because God almighty, does it suck at times. Does it suck real bad to watch.
And the peaks aren't as high as the valleys are low. A lot of the peaks are impressive, and there's one giant mountain peak of the style, but
and it's part of the reason whenever a show pops up that is either mimicking the style or like the formatting, in which case the idea is of a character helping other characters with supernatural situations. It's why I will always, like, 9 times out of 10 recommend Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, because it's more grounded and not pedophilic in any regards, while still having those long conversations and discussions on mental health and how to cope with trauma and things like that. But, just missing the extreme nature of the Monogatari series.
Yeah. So, back to Kinbaru, tomboy. Basically, she used to know Senjo, right? And they have some kind of history together. Ara interacts with Kinbaru, and they talk a little bit about Senjo. Mentioned to Senjo later, she gets a little jealous and paranoid, threatens Ara with removing his eye if he ain't careful. She talks about very often, kind of like annoyingly often, like they're trying to be meta, but it's one of the lesser elements, about how she's a tsundere, right? I'd say like 20% of her self-awareness about being a tsundere works. 20% of the time, I'm like, yeah, they're doing something decent with it. 80% of the time, they're just acknowledging what they're doing, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, that 20% pulled a lot of weight because it was nowhere near as common to be metatextual about anime tropes.
It's like, it's allowed to do that? But it's not, especially nowadays where it's far more common, it's not doing a lot with it, usually.
Yeah, like, most metatech... Yeah.
She's more yandere than tsundere most of the time.
I mean, most of the girls in this are.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man, you got Senjo Gahara immediately stapling a fella's cheek. Like, that's not, like, healthy mental behavior right there. That's...
Yeah. And of course you'll be unsurprised to learn that as soon as Ara meets Kinbaru, he's like, boobs, ass! That will happen for every other character we meet.
Correct.
He looks like a bland bitch protagonist, and like 90% he is. 10% there is an interesting nugget there. 90% he is a bland bitch protagonist. Motherfucker, his only like visually distinct characteristic is his hair boner.
Yes, his ahoge tends to mimic exactly what you think whenever he sees something enjoyable. From his perspective, at least.
And that is like the only thing that makes him in any way visually distinct.
Yeah, like they love to animate the ahoge. It is a very common thing, and again, one of those things that definitely had been done before at this point, but never in a show quite as let's call it serious as this one.
Yeah. So
like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I can see where a lot of modern anime like characterizations and tropes came from or were popularized because of shows like this.
Yeah. So learn about Kanbaru and Senjo's history a little bit, right? And then a little bit later is attacked by a mysterious shadow person on some train tracks. But Senjo shows up to help out. And so later he meets with Kanbaru. She apologizes. It was her. She shows her arm, which is a big ol' monkey arm. She talks about the monkey's paw. And as it turns out, she's a lesbian. Which, you know, for this time is pretty neat to see. Considering the era that this was in, certainly another thing that's less common.
Yep.
And she, of course, is in love and has always been in love with Senjo, but it's always been unrequited, always been one way. Yep. Because they'll have a lesbian, but they'll be damned if they have a bisexual.
You can't have those in public. Don't be ridiculous. So, that reminds me, I should probably talk to Dylan about groceries later. That seems like we're running a little low. Still recovering from illness and whatnot.
Yeah. So Senjo wished on this monkey's paw to be close to Kanbaru wished on the monkey's paw to be close to Senjo, and that is exhibiting itself by trying to kill Ara, right? And so that's sort of the factors that we have at hand. So of course they're like, hey, Ashino, help. And Ashino's like, oh, all right, what's going on? This ain't a monkey's paw deal. This is a rainy devil, you see. And so it's giving you exactly what you want, namely, you fucking hate Ara and want him to die. You want that, so that is what is happening.
Which, isn't uncommon.
Yeah. So, it's like, you can chop off your arm, but she plays basketball.
And that's very important.
There's a couple things that I just aren't handled the best. Overall, I think, like, in broad strokes, the apparitions are solid, right? And how they're handled. They're far from perfect. So she get cut off her head because she's good at basketball and she likes basketball. I mean, she really likes running, but basketball, which was already her sort of like second choice, really, it should be like, if she could just keep running and go back to doing that, then it should be fine, especially because she was worried about running because a bunch of people died and it's a whole backstory thing. I'm not going to get into it. We don't have the time. But she's been worried about that. But we learned that evidently no. That's separate, so you can just keep running. So really, she doesn't need to do basketball because once again, her passion was running. Basketball was just the thing she did because she was afraid of running. But nonetheless, don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Instead, they're like, but there's an alternate method, right? Something else that we can do, and that's to guarantee that the wish is unfulfilled, basically. And Kanbaru beats the shit out of Ara, practically kills him, but then Senjo shows up and defends Ara and befriends Kanbaru properly. And it's like, okay, there we go. Basically laying down boundaries, being like, look, you can't kill my boyfriend. I don't love you, but I would appreciate being friends. And that's just how it's always going to be. There's never going to be anything more between us. And that solves it. Then we move on into the next arc, the Snake arc. Let's see, let me check if there's anything like really notable for me to talk about in this. We might be able to skip the Snake arc, kind of. Like, it's fine. It does some interesting shit, some other uncomfortable, gross shit. With this episode, weirdly, in this section, it
has one of the most popular OPs in anime history.
Oh yeah, something I didn't mention is that they do change the OPs for every section, which I do think is neat and rad as hell.
Yeah.
New song, new visuals, radically different styles, very cool shit.
Yeah, no, if we didn't mention the OP for Nautical Snake, we would have people would have been like, why didn't you talk about this OP? It's classic. I'm like, well, it's a good. I mean, I feel like with the sheer quantity of things that's important, it's the content of the episodes themselves that we need to discuss more than the OP. But no one can deny that OP is a bop.
Yep. This Snake section, it features Kanbaru quite a bit more. Now as just sort of Ara's friend, right? Now granted, occasionally he'll perv on her and it'll do some lazy, stupid tropes, or occasionally she'll be super perverted and they'll just be like, see, girls can be horny too. But once again, it's not handled in an interesting or meaningful way at all. It's just another lazy, horny bullshit thing forced in here. But when it's not doing that, Kenbaru and Ara, because more or less they've set boundaries pretty clearly, actually have like their friendship is pretty interesting and nice to see. It's a solid thing, and frankly, at least at this stage, it's more interesting than like Ara's relationship with Senjo. Senjo just kind of isn't seen during this arc much at all. She takes a backseat, and weirdly, she's gonna take a backseat for most of the rest of the show, despite she becomes more important, but for some reason, mostly off screen, which doesn't make a lot of sense considering what the next arc especially is about.
Correct.
It's a very weird decision where they're like, yeah, the central duo is Ara and Senjo. They're together and look how meaningful it is. But
yes,
she just goes MIA, I guess, for the most part.
Yep.
It's a weird creative choice that does not really work. Nonetheless, at this point, their relationship is like, it has some brief moments that kind of work, but for the most part, it's obnoxious as hell. It will have a redeeming episode. All right, there's a redeeming episode for their relationship. It just ain't there yet.
Nope.
So they help one of his sister's friends handle snake apparition because she's been double cursed. There's some stuff with it. Look, we've been here long enough. There's nothing more I really have to say about it. It's continuing on. It's just
As far as I recall, there's more stuff related to her specifically in later seasons and whatnot. But like as things stand right now, it is like only 2 episodes of the season. So
yeah, it was around now. I mean, it's been the whole time, but like I wrote a specific note that it was extremely frustrating that romance is the most commonly explored theme, because there's infinite themes to possibly explore, right?
Yep.
And it's not the only one they explore, but it's the most common in the show, and unfortunately it's also the theme that's handled with the least depth and with the most cliche bullshit. And it's like, oh man, when they're off the beaten path, this show works.
Yeah.
When the show is on the beaten path, it is absolute dog shit.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate that it decides to do those cliches so frequently. Anyway, we get to the final section, which is the largest section, and that is the cat. And this
it's a whopping 5 parts. Which
5
3
parts, but really 4 parts.
Yes.
4 parts and an intermission where they recognize, it genuinely feels like they recognized, oh shit. This whole arc is about Hanakawa, right? Mentioned briefly before, she's crushing on Ara and is jealous of the relationship, but, just put on a happy face and ignore it and don't worry about it. But then that causes a lot of stress, and that stress exhibits itself in ooh, a sexy cat girl. Easily the least interesting premise and design. It genuinely is just like, yeah, and then she turns into a cat girl, and then what if we had her in her pajamas with her pajamas falling off for the last handful of episodes? It's like, why? What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Trying to be horny is what, Rem?
It's not a great way to end it, and so like obviously Ara and Senjo's relationship is very important, but for 4 of these 5 episodes, Senjo isn't that relevant or present.
Mm-hmm.
She could have been. There's lots of ways she could have been. She's just not, though. So I feel like the one episode she is very present in, that is also unrelated largely to the other 4. Like, related in theme, because it's about the relationship, but not connected to the events of. And frankly, you could have placed this episode kind of at anywhere. It's a bit strange. It's a weird creative decision. It feels forced. At the same time, the episode about Ara and Senjo, which is episode 12, it's a contender for best episode.
Yep.
So this episode, nice and simply, Senjo is like, let's go on a date, and Senjo, like, by now, I appreciate and enjoy the way she talks to Ara, because she'll like start out very forceful. She's like, all right, we're going on a date. But then like recognizes that that's too forceful. And it's like, I'd like to go on a date. Is that like, she doesn't know how to ask. She just knows how to like demand.
Yes.
She knows how to assert, but doesn't know, but she also like, she's able to be aware that that's a flaw of hers. And so that's like a really neat thing to see. To sort of see somebody like struggling, like trying to be better, falling into old habits, but then like trying to mindfully push themselves into better habits and better communication. That's something you don't see often. Really fucking cool.
Yeah. It probably won't surprise you at all to hear that Senjo Gahara is probably one of the most popular characters from the franchise. Like, handily.
and sometimes I agree.
Yeah, yes.
Look, especially early on, anytime where it wants to emphasize her tsundere or yandere elements, once again, only through cliches. Stop. Stop. But here, where it's like she's a person with a really troubled past, but she really cares for Ara and is sincerely trying to be better. Hell yeah. Here we go. That's a fucking character. That's beyond the goddamn trope. So they go on a date, and a lot of this episode is driving to the date, and they're driven by her dad, who's just in the front seat driving, very stoic. Ara's like, make sure he doesn't say anything wrong. She, meanwhile, is being pretty casual, and he's just like, right. And she's just like teasing him and everything, and the dynamic works there, and it's like a little bit awkward, and it lasts a little too long, but in a good way. At one point, she starts like getting frisky with Ara in the back seat, and Ara's, instead of being its normal pervy self, because the dad's right there, is just like, ah. And it's clear that this is really just like a part of a teasing mind game that Senjo's playing, right? And it just handled pretty decently, and it's interesting, and it's different, and you're just able to show off humanity in a unique and strange circumstance. And then they arrive there, and she has to go set some stuff up. So Ara's in the car alone with her dad, and the dad is like, more or less just lays it out. He's like, hey, you make my daughter happy, make sure you take care of her. I'm insanely busy. And so I don't get to spend time with her as much as I'd like. So I want you to take good care of her, treat her right. All right. And it's nice to sort of break sort of the expected, like, very stern, and he hasn't said a word this whole drive. And so Senjo comes back. Ara and Senjo go into the woods at night. She set up a little blanket, and they just stargaze, and they just sort of chat. And they talk about sex here, and Senjo is honest and is like, it's difficult for me because the guy who tried to rape me, it's hard for me to sort of untangle that from just sort of the notion of sex. And so it just generally frightens me, and it's something I need to sort of figure out. That being said, and like they have just an earnest conversation about it. This episode is really like the one where they feel like they have meaningful chemistry together. If you can tell that they both, while they're awkward, edgy teenagers, they both do care for each other. And it's just real solid. It's a solid fucking episode.
Yeah. And there is going to be, there's a very interesting thing about this episode in particular, Rem. And that's the fact that most people who watch Bakemonogatari, at least, through legal means, most people will have seen this as the season finale.
Oh, interesting. All right. Obviously, I watched it through legal means, so that's how I watch it. But what about if somebody were to see it, I don't know, as episode 12, really weirdly, sort of just smushed in the middle?
Yeah, so, because for whatever reason, and believe me, I looked, I couldn't find an obvious reason, and maybe I've just missed it. But for whatever reason, the last 3 episodes of Bakemonogatari specifically, Tsubasa Cat Part 3, 4, and 5, they came out like 2 months later, and on Crunchyroll specifically, they only have episodes 1 through 12. But it would have felt really fun.
So it's not that they moved it and put it at 15. It's that they cut 13 through 50.
Yeah. So most people who watch
I was going to say, putting it as episode 12, like, if anything, I'm putting it as episode 15 does make a kind of sense.
Oh, it would have made perfect sense if it was, like, genuinely the last episode of, like, the season. But it appears to be that for most people because Tsubasa Cat parts 3 through 4 aren't as easily accessible. Which is, a fun little thing to find out when researching this show again and being like, oh, I see there are 15 episodes here. I distinctly remember 12. What's up with the last couple?
so before this, before like prepping for this episode, you weren't even aware of the totality of everything.
Yeah, because essentially what ended up happening was, I figured out about the 15 episodes, I think the first time I tried researching this, but it was one of those things where when I originally watched this show back in the day, I think it was 2012 when I originally watched it, because I think that's when it was ported to Crunchyroll, and I watched 12 episodes. I was like, oh, that kind of ended a little abruptly, but you know what? Maybe that's just the way it is, and I never bothered watching future seasons because while I got the positive things about it, as a younger lad, there were even then I still noticed that there were some weird things about it that I didn't quite gel with as much. So I never had the motivation to search out the remaining episodes, if that makes sense.
Well, it makes sense, and unfortunately, the remaining episodes, while they have some highlights, the last arc really, other than the date episode,
yes,
it's possibly the weakest, because it's all about a shitty love triangle, and also a vampire girl has gone missing. Oh, we need to search for her, but then she just shows up, and also, like, I was kind of uncomfortable with some stuff that was implied with her.
Yeah. Hey, dog. I'll tell you right now. Shinobu there is from one of the prequels. The reason that Araragi is like vampired up in the first place, and definitely doesn't always look the way she does.
Yeah, I can hear people saying that she's 100-year-old vampire already.
Yes,
I can hear them making those excuses, and once again, we haven't strictly seen anything where those excuses are necessary. However, there have been some gestures that defense may need to come.
Yeah. Look, man, Kizu Monogatari is a thing. It's a series of films.
Fucking hell.
And, like, I'm just gonna send you the image from Kizu Monogatari Part 3, and I think it'll answer all of your questions and then some.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, continuing on, so they're looking for a vampire girl. That's kind of a moot point. They're hoping that she can, to simplify, but not as much as you'd think, de-stress Hanakawa, to turn her back into Hanakawa from the evil cat girl she is by biting her and taking the energy. And so they're looking around. Ara asks for some assistance, eventually is confronted by the cat girl version of Hanakawa, the demon cat girl, and lays it out and is like, the reason I'm here is because Hanakawa loves you and it stresses her out that she can't have you. And then Ara has to have the shitty, lame, cliche response, what? What are you talking about? She couldn't possibly like little old me, right? Just we have to do that. We have to handle shitty love triangle, and it's just so fuck. And then they're like, yeah, no, this is equally as traumatic as her being abused by her family. This is equal amounts of stress here. And then at one point, Ara's like, is this equal amounts of stress? And they're like, fuck you for even questioning that. They're not ending things with a bang. Ara's like, hey, no, I'm gonna stand by. Me and Senjo, like, we're a thing, all right? Which once again, where the fuck did she go? Where did she go? Besides the date episode, she's not relevant to the final 2 arcs. The final 2 arcs, she's just not very important. Why?
And again, from my understanding, she is more relevant in like the following series.
Yeah, but she kind of needed to be relevant here and now. She kind of needed to be there.
Like I said, Reb, I distinctly remember episode 12. I have a hard time remembering episodes 13 through 15.
So, Catgirl is like, all right, if you aren't going to be with me, then I'll fucking kill you. She has this shonen-ass bullshit energy drain ability that feels like it doesn't fit stylistically or vibes-wise with the show at all.
Correct.
But she does it. And then, like, sometimes it's able to nearly kill someone. Other times it's just like a silly Pikachu shock, you know?
Uh-huh.
Where it's like, gotcha. And it's like, oh, what a big impact. But we're all fine. But she's like, all right, well, now I do need to kill you. So I'm going to. Beats the shit out of him. And then just starts being like, oh, man, now any second, I'm gonna kill you. Any moment now, I'm gonna do it. By gone it. And then she even like, she's like, you're probably expecting one of your friends to show up and save you, but that ain't gonna happen. And I was like, all right, that almost works to sort of like talk to the audience and be like, because we're all expecting, as has happened repeatedly already, somebody to show up and save him, right?
Yep. And
so it is kind of a neat moment to tell him and thus the audience, not this time, baby, you're fucked. So then the vampire shows up, bites her, saves him, and Hanakawa's fine now.
Yeah.
So that's a and the overall theme of this one is just don't let stress bottle up. Once again, it's not handling super deep themes. It handles them with a bit of an interesting metaphor sometimes, and other times handles them like dog shit. This show, stylistically, oh baby, it's unlike anything else. When it comes to exploring themes, it is not S tier by any means, but it can occasionally broach A and B tier, which in very fresh, different ways than you'll often see in anime. Once again, especially the episode 12, the date episode.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so nice to see things handled in a complex way, emotionally and psychologically and interpersonally, that is so rare for most anime. It's a breath of fresh air, truly, truly, truly. There's also a lot that's like passable, that's fine. Most of the ideas of the episodes aren't particularly novel or interesting or insightful, but presenting them with the apparitions is a fun presentation at the very least. It adds a little bit of novelty to what otherwise would be a boring platitude. And then you get the unspeakable 40% that
makes the show impossible to recommend on good faith.
Yeah, that is extremely gross and also extremely low quality. It is both of those things individually and unfortunately together. And so, man, it'll get like a 3 to 3.5 out of 10 from me, dog. Where a lot of that is style, and a lot of that, like two stars alone out of those 10 would just be style. 1.5 would be, 2.5 if I'm being honest, and then another star for handling when it handles things maturely and interesting and thoughtfully. Oh baby, that's great, and that's impressive. Most other shows, if they were getting 2.5 stars just for style, right? Oh, they'd be so ridiculously high. Unfortunately, this one is also heavily penalized by a lot of bullshit. I don't think people need to watch this, unfortunately. I think watch, here's what you do, and I think this is how you get the value of the show. Watch most of the openings. Not all. Not all.
No.
Because some of them also are looking over at you being like, those ones are less good. But watch most of the openings.
Renai circulation is peak, and nobody will disagree on that.
And episode 12, and you'll be like, oh, that's a lot of cool stylistic stuff, and a well done episode. And that will be so much better than watching 15 fucking episodes.
Yeah. And if you want something
if you removed all of the dog shit, then it would be like probably like a 7.5 out of 10. Just a solid good to real good. With all that's actively detracting for so many reasons, yeah, no fucking shot. And it's not just the case where it's like, oh, it shows up briefly. It is prolific. It is everywhere.
Yes. And gang, before anybody says anything, no, the toothbrush scene is not in Bakemonogatari. It's in the sequel, Nisei Monogatari.
Fuck? Excuse me?
Oh, God. Hey,
that's the most ominous thing I've heard in a hot fucking minute. The toothbrush scene.
Yeah, so... we're going to talk about it right now because I don't know if we'll ever get a chance to go to Nisei Monogatari.
All right, I'm strapped in, baby.
Long story short, there is a very anti-altruistic reason why people wanted us to cover this franchise as well, Rem. And that's because in Nisei Monogatari specifically, there is an infamous scene that involves a toothbrush, and it is, man, oh man, is it weird and gross, and people wanted us to cover it so that they could have your reaction to the toothbrush scene. is part of the reason that people have recommended this franchise to us. And like rewatching it and remembering that it was in fact in the sequel series, a sequel series that I haven't fully watched all the way through, but I have seen the toothbrush scene. That just kind of shows you how people just wanted to see a freak out is definitely how that one is going to go. And that being said, again, the only series of the Monogatari franchise I've seen all the way through is Bakemonogatari, so I don't know if it gets worse or if it improves overall. I just know that the most infamous scene in the entire franchise is in the sequel series.
Oh,
and
fuck.
all it is Araragi helping someone brush their teeth, and definitely not an allegory for anything else. Yep. It's a thing. Who knows? Maybe if there's enough requests for us to actually watch Nisei Monogatari, we can. But the other alternative is me just like sitting you down, putting the camera on you, not showing the scene itself and just showing your face for what happens during the scene. And that would probably get people what they want all the same. Because I think that's what most people remember from Nisei Monogatari. I haven't watched it all the way through, so I have no clue if that's true or not. But it's definitely the thing that everybody brings up whenever we talk about the Monogatari franchise. So just to clarify, gang, again, not in this first 15 episodes. So don't be sad that you didn't hear people talk about it. That was the other elephant in the room that I wanted to address with this. Yeah. Look, man, it's complicated. But we know what you think about the show now, Rem. Now it's time to do the very complex question of what do the weebs think? So what do you think the Mal score for Bakemonogatari is?
Okay. All right. Now it's the time we got to unwrap that little foreshadowing present, right?
Yeah.
Because either it's going to be that it has... I think it's undeniable that around its time, weebs would have been all fucking in. Theoretically, many of them can now be like, shit, really does not stand the test of time. Though I would argue it is not just that it doesn't stand the test of time. But they could be like, with as I have grown, I've come to understand it is not as good as perhaps I used to think it was. That being said, the miscellaneous defenses I saw don't give me a lot of confidence. I'm going to guess that it is higher than I'd like, and I'm going to say that because I'm like, if it got, I think good chance it ended up 8, maybe slightly higher, and then if there's been a reevaluation, which would be nice, then maybe it's down to almost certainly not lower than a 7.5. 7.5 to like fucking 8.4 is my range. I'm gonna say 7.95. I think that the weebs still mostly love it. I don't have a lot of confidence in the weebs. I think they're still pretty all in.
So 7.95, that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Rem, Bakemonogatari has 763,000 ratings, which is fucking high. It is very high. And with those 763,000 ratings, Bakemonogatari is sitting nice and pretty at 8.32.
Oh, fuck you! Weebs! Weebs!
Yeah. I can give you some hope in that most of the not recommended reviews that are fully written out are very recent, if that helps. Like,
oh my god, the weebs, they're a lost cause, unfortunately.
you're writing them off completely.
This scored so insanely highly.
Yes, it did. It is prolifically high, Rem.
Here's what that means, all right? It's not just that they're like, this is a negative, but I looked past it for the good. Motherfucker, with a rating that high, a lot of these weebs, whether they're saying it or not, the gross bullshit is a feature, not a bug. And that is awful. But also, I shouldn't be surprised. I saw the people defending it. I saw them defending it. Yeah. I should have known better. I hoped that was a smaller community, I guess. But, fucking hell.
Yeah, and it could also come from people rating it from the perspective of seeing the rest of the franchise is a possibility, but it is top heavy in the reviews ratings. Most of the written out reviews are from the time period it released, so that definitely is something to consider. But yeah, here's the stat breakdown of it, and you'll notice it is very top heavy.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's 20% of all the ratings consider this a 10 out of 10 show, which I think part of what I think it is, Rem, is I think that the stylistic choices, like the things that you rated positively, have so much more weight in weeby communities that it completely counterbalances like the extremely negative stuff that we have talked about today. And they're willing to turn a blind eye to some of it. And then, of course, you've got the really freaky folk who will defend everything with the idea of the camera matching, the perversion scale, which is viable as like a artistic choice. It's just there's thresholds, and this passes all of the thresholds in the worst possible way. So yeah, it is, it is prolific and beloved for a lot of reasons. And man, oh man, do people not talk about the bad stuff as much as they should when recommending it.
Ooh, I'm gonna lose it.
Like I said, Rem, heavily fucking requested. Merry Christmas! This is what people wanted. They really wanted you to talk about it.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, and you are a man of the people, so truly, you gotta make them happy by giving them what they want. It's just that, from your perspective, this is a pretty bad show overall.
Yeah.
And hey, who knows? Maybe this will be a good excuse for us to revisit Bunny Girl Senpai now that you have the lens of Monogatari, and we can finish out that season, and you can at the very least see the differences and the improvements along the way, even if it is lacking like that heavy stylistic choice. That might be...
His score made me lose so much faith in humanity.
Yeah. Look,
once
man,
again, it's not already like I was aiming really high in my mind, right?
Yes.
My prediction was disappointment. Like I was like 7.95, which is way too high, and that's gonna suck. This is like insanely high.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, the Monogatari series second season, which, if I'm reading this correctly, is the season. Essentially, you can think of it as season 3, more or less. It goes Bake, then Nisei, then Monogatari series. That one is scored higher, with less ratings overall, but still higher than what you're currently watching. So, it's, in theory, it gets better with time, and I wish I had more reasoning or excuses for you, man. And because, I remember all of the good parts from the show, and I block out all the bad parts from the show, and that's probably what most people are doing with it.
Yeah.
Which sucks, but great news is it opened the pathway for a lot of other more weird and creative shows that are less problematic, which is nice. And we get shows like Bunny Girl Senpai, or, I'm trying to think of another one off the top of my head, but it's not coming. I just really like Bunny Girl Senpai a lot. that is just one of my favorites. So yeah, man, oh man, it's not something that you can ever really recommend to people without like sitting them down and talking about it with them for a long ass time, kind of like I do on this podcast with you, Rem.
Yep.
I talked about it in the most positive way I could, and I did mention in the front half that there were going to be things in this show that you absolutely hated.
I suppose I just didn't know it was going to be so much.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be what frequently happens is like, oh yeah, that one scene in episode 2 that everybody agrees is bad. But this was like, oh yeah, no, like those major chunks of every episode.
Yes, 1,000,000% yes. And you gotta understand why I didn't tell you about that up front, because you gotta be I gotta do my job here to try and highlight the show as positively as possible. And I'm hoping that the Monogatari fans will at least appreciate my attempt in that. As for the show itself, would you ever show it to your mother? Probably not. Probably a good thing to consider.
I wouldn't show it to basically anybody.
Yeah. Just watch Bunny Girl Senpai instead. That's my recommendation. And Renai Circulation. That OP is a bop and will always be a bop. It shows up on my Spotify playlist from time to time, and I jam out every time it does.
But alas, Sean, we all know who your real Bunny Girl Senpai is.
Okay, listen here, you. So I guess with that in mind, the final question I need to ask you, Rem, though I'm fairly certain I already know the answer. Any chance you'd want to watch more of the Monogatari franchise?
No, I do not. While it in a handful of regards is unique and different and even at times a breath of fresh air, it is nowhere close to being worth it. Nowhere close. Other than the style, nothing is transcendently good. Meanwhile, there are some things that are abysmally bad.
Yeah. But maybe in the later seasons and the prequels and all that other jazz, maybe it's better.
Oh yeah, I'm sure with the toothbrush it gets a lot better, all right?
Hey man, a lot of people love to share the toothbrush scene.
I'm sure they love to share it. I'm sure they do. That's a bit different than loving to watch it.
Yeah, and looking at oh wow, Jesus Christ. One of the seasons of this franchise has an 8.86 later on. So people seem to think it only gets better as it goes on, from what I can tell.
Good God.
So who knows? But with that in mind, happy Christmas, gang. Hopefully the wheel treated you exactly how you wanted it to. Also, I think I might have said that Takabi Original Sin has 4 episodes. It has 6. I don't know if I made that mistake, but I feel like I made that mistake. So if I did, my bad.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
No, yeah, well, I care. Every time I say something on the podcast and we finish recording, and then I think about it, and I'm like, did I make a mistake? Fuck, I better clarify that because I don't like being blatantly wrong. And if I remember something, I like to clarify it. But it's fine. You almost got to watch 6 episodes of something. Instead, you watched 15. So hey. But with that all in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the lovely Christmas treat that is the wheel, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They do mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime-out-of-context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly, and I will definitely be streaming properly more in the new year because, December kicked my fucking ass. Being sick for 2.5 weeks ain't great, gang. Don't recommend it. And if that is still not enough for you, you can head on over to patreon.com/anime-out-of-context, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the 12 Days of April Fools that, at this point, everything's there.
It's all out, baby.
It's all out, and dear God, we've put more effort into it this year than any other year, especially Remington, and I've put more suffering into it this year than you would anticipate, based on the first couple of days. Yeah. So yeah, please go give it a check out. $5 a month for that. But you also get the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who are we thanking this week?
As always, we would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are pretending that they're tsunderes and then stapling us in the cheek. And on that list we have, the wheel is rolling towards a Mirai Nikki revisit, Yeti Ramsey stuck in a hamster wheel for charity, the Hot Wheels Wheel of Power is my waifu, Mine Hack the Wheel, silly mistake, but this wasn't the Wheel of Time audiobook, it was Sean's OnlyFans woo. The Wheel has spoken, the Snow Bros have a new saltine side piece, Dylan. Gobster, Wheel Remington talk about the time God made Hosea marry a hoe. Gandalf wants to take Sean's hobbits at Isengard, wink wink. When Wheel Rem doing Xmas party quirks? Welcome to Sword Art Remington. Sean blocked my cock. Hope you didn't forget about your vampire past. Cialis is a wheelie sleepy princess. Princess Cialis was zapped. Wheel Darius, Ryan Moody. Banana Season 69, Garfield Strikes Back. Week 25 of using my Patreon name to request Code Geese. Boring Siren, Sparsy. That time I reincarnated as a podcast host and forced to weeb. I'm mostly alive. Sean admits to being Red Pill, Dick Wheeler, Bunny Pumper, Glizzy Glinker, Super Soaker, Pope Grover, Child Kicker, Mega Supporter, Rollins. Swaraj Verdi. Jake Dent. Wheel of Weeby Truth. Wolfire 56. Nerd 98. Lucky Stars, the King of Moe. You can spin the wheel all you want, but the house always wins. Fucking God. I really want Sean to grow breasts. Hashtag Trevor Project.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Oh, I can't believe I just the hashtag Trevor Project at the end, just being like, hey, I'm with the wheel, I'm supporting it, but also breasts.
Yeah, like as far as trans Sean jokes go, that's probably one of the better ones.
I can't believe I made an account for this. Wes Kane, bring out your dead. Bring out your dead. Rem has brutally betrayed the people. Yeah, look. Oh
yeah, because at the time of this recording, day 5 just barely dropped, and people are upset. Some are blaming me, which I find funny. No, they definitely shouldn't. Some of them are like, why doesn't Sean just not record that episode?
Sean made controversial decisions in the 12 days, and some people are less happy about it than others.
So Ren,
but I will, because Sean is my friend, I'll defend him and his choices, all right?
Hey Rem, out of curiosity, how would you have felt if I had just said I'm not doing this episode to any of the 12 days? Do you think that would have been fun?
Yeah, that's not how that works.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so. Okay, just thought I'd clarify.
If that was an option, I would not be here. We live in a society, all right?
Yeah, we have rules. We've made an agreement. We signed our contracts. With each other.
Yep. Bento Kato, Christmas Breaking Wheel Time. Replaying the entire Animated Context playlist for a third time, it really helps me sleep. Judy wheel thump Sean's feet with her buddy feet. It's just foot on foot action, to be clear. It's just
weird.
Foot on foot action.
Weird.
Remington is right. Wheel Sean keep edging to Judy's big booty. It's time to spin the wheel of Sean's identity. Beach episode Harem Supporter, right, Sean? A Moe piece of trash. Sarah from the Shark plushie. Aisha Gaji. Blarf. Macaroni and cheese ha. Daniel Riot. The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Renozo as my navigator. Sean ruined my happy sugar life when he got kicked out of the theater for jerking himself off to completion too loudly. Hashtag wheel. Super Zoo. Erica McCorkle. Sean Rollins. Link Joe Curl. Sean wants gift Spoon Man to thank and yank. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from that anime. I want a Marvel movie starring Sean as Spider-Man and Remington as Big Wheel. My Digimon is Empreg Red Pilled Rollins. Dad Rem tell me but I'm sorry about Sean's nut. Turban. Capybara loves wheels and Gojo's eyes. I don't know, I couldn't think of something clever about wheels, but I still wanted to help the charity. Stacy's mom. Amazing Muffin. Watching Requiem for Spoon and a 0.5 speed. The wheel in the sky keeps on gooning. King Rich Rock. Pro tips out of context is run out things most will come back soon. Rhiannon Williams. Titan CNH. The Susanator. Rock hard for you dudes. Really excited for this episode. Yandere Neko. Anime. In crystal waters, Miska will be bound. Cold as stone. Weary to the sounds upon the wheel, and then she'll have Coco. Fern the Fern. Gee, bottom AK Bear Trap. You've heard of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but what of Rudolph the Cuckold Reindeer? P.S. Wheels. Sean fixes my back with Catherine Wheel 10-star. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. I don't even know what that means. No waifu, no waifu. Wheel, and now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Sean? Hoomst, Cheese Wheel Monkey, Jax, Fenrir Foxelf, Professor Fox, Jam Hands. Will Sean ever stop gooning to Zootopia 2? Bakshin. Firmweeb wants to give a big wheel of thanks to all Patreon members. Ross Palmer, The Struggle Bus is forever. and Cassidy. Now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. Tell them what they're going to get this week, Sean.
I'm glad I didn't fall for it this time. I was about to, but I was like, no, Sean. Don't be stupid. you did this badly last time. God, man, I have no fucking clue. I'm gonna give them some office supplies.
Perfect. So some nice, and keep in mind, these are your weapons going into the arena, but they are just going to be office supplies. So good luck. Triangle Warlock.
Pencil.
Toaster Bath 489, 420 plus 69.
Printer paper.
Sean throated me like Rumi in Censored.
Christ. Envelopes.
Melnick Suzuki.
Stamps.
Dominai Trigun, it will red pill even rem.
Labels.
Titaro saw Sean wearing a really explicit Nick Wilde cosplay.
I don't know who that. Oh, that's the fox.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
It wouldn't even need to be like, truly, just wear what he wears. I don't think he has pants. I think he's Winnie the Pooh in it, right? So
I can't recall, but also I don't know like if that would be the ultimate strategy because Disney doesn't want them to be together, according to what I've heard from people who watched the second film. Even though
people
the writers
who've watched
clearly
the second
do.
film. Oh, Sean, you're so coy.
They can have a notepad.
Sean Wheely pounded my little Banussi the other week.
A planner.
Umbrasite.
A binder.
Rem still needs to watch Bandori, It's Maigo, and Ave Mujica, or else Kasumi will keep singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh, binder tabs.
That mouse girl.
A hole punch.
Raccoon Operator number 42.
3 hole punch.
One Piece live action on episode 400.
A filing cabinet.
Sammy K is here to remind you that you just lost the game.
Some folders.
And you get a Volvo truck wheel as a Christmas present.
Stapler.
Roscop.
Staples.
Cover 271.
Stapler remover.
Chris Thorstad wants Rem Daddy to take the wheel.
Scissors.
Spoonman the Aristocrat is here for party quirks.
Box cutter.
Power Soul notices that Witty Willy whipped the whirling wheel while the whistling wind whipped wildly.
Large paper clips.
Monogatari has everything, you guys, and I would pay $100 per spin on the wheel to change the pin to Monogatari. You've after all this time.
Yep.
You finally got what you want. Was it everything you ever dreamed of?
It was probably everything minus the toothbrush scene, if I had to guess. They can have the big binder clips.
The great ball of despair misses you.
Large rubber bands.
Nurkaza hashtag SONR soaking one nut Rollins.
How about some clear cellophane tape, excuse me.
The Wheel of Ka keeps turning.
Some masking tape.
Beethoven 1201.
Ooh, a tape gun.
Wheel Tums.
What? I don't know what kind of office is using this, but sure. Duct tape.
Silent Secondary.
Twine.
Miguel Deleon.
Sticky notes.
And Allfather only just realized on the 2nd that the 12 days drops next week, and he's heckin' excited. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Hopefully.
Yep, hopefully you did. We went through hell. Through hell.
It's a wild year for 12 days for so many reasons.
You can have a compass.
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Sean asked Joey Wheeler.
Please be careful.
Okay. I'm vetoing a lot of ideas.
Yes, please do. Don't get me canceled on Christmas, sir.
Still vetoing a lot of ideas. Where Sean, as Joey Wheeler, will give you something amazing, and then I, as Joey Wheeler, will ruin it.
What?
At least we got. Follow Anime Out of Context on Blue Sky. Wheel. Hearing Sean every podcast makes my whole week Ubak Wheel.
Sorry, what am I giving them? Please re-clarify that.
Something good. Something real good.
Can give them something real good and you're gonna fucking ruin it. Okay, yeah. Cool. Alright. Man, oh man. You know what? They can have Remington Chase. There you go.
Hosting Anime Out of Context. This show ruins me, Sean. It ruins me.
Oh, God.
Next we got Humanoid Monsters Are Like Tasting Party, but for fucking spin the wheel, bitch!
Something really nice. They can have, you know what? They can have a lovely Christmas cake.
And with this Christmas cake, it's served by your really racist uncle who is a great baker, but he's put a MAGA memorial on top of it, so It's a really good cake, but you don't want to like implicitly support the uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus Christ. Happy Christmas.
Yeah, it's just really celebrating. And last but not least, we got all the Joeys outside are wheeling, the waifus are yondering, Sean's about to bust real soon. Let him goon, let him goon, let him goon.
Oh, fuck. I hate how clever that was.
Very good. It's very good.
Okay. Something real nice. Yeah, fuck it. They can have a lovely editor Dylan Kreider.
But unfortunately, as many people have learned, it's Dylan being freed from his cage, so you do need to go watch Meth Gator. I know. That's
That's gonna sound like fucking nonsense to anybody who has no idea what the 12
every
days
rose
is on.
has its thorn.
Okay.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very, very much. Merry Christmas, and as always, don't fuck your sister.
Fa la la la, fa la la la.